Hi, we're back again with Adobe Premiere tips and tricks of trade. We're going to go over some simple editing stuff for adding and adjusting video effects. You're going to need two things here. You're going to want your bottom panel to be on effects, and it should look like this with all your effects out. And your top panel, which is usually on your source, be on effect controls. If you can't find either one of these, it'd be under the double arrow. Right? So I've applied an effect to this particular clip right here, right? And you can see that here. Now I'm going to get rid of it and show you how I did that, right? Just going to click on it and delete. So that's how you remove an effect once you've applied it. But note that anytime you have a clip selected, as I have here, you'll see the basic effect controls under video effects, motion, opacity, time remapping, and etc. And I can clear these out too. Or maybe I can. I don't know. I'll put this back to 100. Okay, at least. And there and here. Whoop. So this is kind of how this shot looked originally, right? Not terrible. A little too centered, and the color's a little off, all right? Also a little bit far away for an interview, okay? We're going to adjust this a little bit in both our regular effect controls and also in our effects that we're going to apply from down here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is make sure I have my clip selected so I see my regular effects, twirl down motion, and in order to zoom it in, I'm going to increase the scale. All right, I'm going to go ahead and take this to about 130. Okay, but now I'm cutting her head off. So over here we have our left, right, and our up, down, our vertical. I'm going to bring it back down until I get the top of her head back. And it could be, cut off a little bit if it was super tight. But let's give her, 1 to 2 fingers of space off the top of her head, making sure we're not cutting her off right at the shoulder line because that's awkward. And then because I zoomed in, I've got more space on the side here that I can slide her over. She's facing this way. I can give the look room and place her a lot closer, eliminating some of this weird background as well. She's looking this way. Look what we've got here, rule of thirds. Eye on the top third line, person lined up with the right third, giving look space off to the side. So that's the first thing with position and scale under our basic motion. All clips have these effects on them. Now, effects that you apply yourself are different. They're going to come from down here. In a previous video, we talked about transitions, audio and video, but this time we're going to do video effects. Okay, and under video effects, I'm going to choose color correction. I had previously used this. So it twirls down like this, these little arrows, open them up. And these little clip indicators are what you're going to drag. I'm just going to do a basic color balance here. Click and drag it over to my clip. Now you'll notice that nothing here changed except for this red indicator that I have an unrendered clip effect on. Even though I didn't change any of the effects yet, they're all on 0. You may also notice that that popped up here, okay? Twirl it down, twirl it up. My color balance effect as applied on this clip now exists in my effect controls. So I select this clip. These are the effects for this clip. Twirl that down, and maybe I will adjust these things a little bit and see how it looks. All right, I'm getting more green. I want to be less green, so maybe I'll bring my red up just a little bit. And less is more a lot of times with effects. I'm just going to type in an 8. I'm going to give a little extra highlight red. Maybe that's too much. Something right in there. The whole thing just kind of looked a little yellow-green for me. So maybe I'll bring up my highlight and shadow in red. Maybe I'll take the mid-tone greens out just a hair. Okay, small numbers. I'm not going in 30s, 40s, 50s at all. All right, I can check how well this worked with this little button that toggles the effect on or off. It's the FX button, similar to Photoshop. Click it off, and you see it was much more yellow. Click it back on. And maybe now we're shying a little bit toward the pinkish reddish side, but I think the skin tone has gotten more natural. The wood has gotten more natural. And in general, it looks better. If this were my interview, I don't think I would have done it next to this air conditioner, which looks really weird behind her on top of a piano. But anyway, can't do anything about that now. At least we made it a little bit better, a little bit less distracting, and we made the color a little bit nicer. All right. If you happen to have another effect or another clip that has the same coloring, you can always right click and copy that effect, move on to your next effect clip. Let me zoom out with minus. Okay, let's pretend like over here, this is a little bit yellow too. Maybe they use the same camera. I can right click and paste, and that's kind of nice. Warmed it up a little bit, right? And added that color balance effect with the same exact settings to this other clip here. Okay, video effects, added, adjusted, and effect controls in Adobe Premiere. Happy editing.